Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston here. Today I'm back for episode number 43 of my Tampa Bay Rays Let's Play series here on Out of the Park Baseball 18. So today we're back with the offseason, coming off of that epic American League Championship Series where we were defeated by the New York Yankees in 7 games, and it was an 8-4 loss in Game 7. Of course, that series had many twists and turns, big walk-off hits, and it was disappointing. I thought we could compete with New York, but oh well. So we're coming off of a good playoff run. I think we sort of maybe reestablish ourselves as a good team. We're coming off an 84 win season, which is not great, and certainly have spots on this roster that need upgrading. A lot of people in the comments section have been calling for me to rebuild for a couple of years now, and I don't really. I think I've talked a little bit about it before, but I don't really see the need to when we're still making the playoffs. And I know that we only made the playoffs as an 84 win team, but guess what? We were in the ALCS. We were in Game 7 of the ALCS. We were very, very close to another World Series, and probably going to have to win more than 84 games to get back there next year. But certainly, I think we could very well get back to that spot. So as long as we have the chance to be that kind of team, I'm probably going to continue to win now, try to make win now moves. But let's take a look. So there's a big change coming this offseason because the AL has gotten rid of the designated hitter. So that is going to be a big change to our team. We didn't really have a strong designated hitter. This doesn't really affect us too much. Schwarber's a free agent anyway. I'm not going to re-sign him. He had been playing a lot of DH for us the last couple of years. So this isn't really a big blow for us. If anything, this probably helps us because our pitching staff maybe now... Actually, I'm not sure if it helps us because we already had such a good pitching staff. Maybe our guys will pitch better, but maybe it won't, and that could be an advantage to us. But maybe because if you think about it, if you already have a good staff in the AL and everybody else is having to deal with the designated hitter, then your staff only gets so much better by not having to deal with the DH, whereas everyone else, maybe for a worse pitching staff, it's a bigger advantage. So it's almost like diminishing returns. But anyway, let's just, so we have a lot of free agents. Didn't realize we had this many. Urias is a free agent. He is looking for not a lot of money. So Urias has been kind of underwhelming, really, for most of his career. We could bring him back. He would be a cheap option. Stubbs, I'm probably gonna let go. I don't think it's worth bringing him back. He was solid for us last year, looking for $7 million. I don't want to pay him that much because he would be a platoon player. Schwarber, I'm definitely gonna let go. $9 million. Robles, depending on what he wants $9 million. I don't really want to bring him back for that price. Givens really choked hard for us in the playoffs. I'm gonna submit the qualifying offer. He was not happy with us all year because he didn't like being not being the closer. We have Devers as a free agent. He's only looking for $25 million a year. That's not a ton. That would pretty much zap all of our money that we have left. He's 29. Not the great player. Last couple years he's been pretty good. He was solid for us last year. He plays solid defense. I don't know if he's a $25 million a year player. He is an Iron Man, which I like. Maybe we let him go to free agency and just see what his market plays out as. I'm not going to give him an offer right away, certainly, but we'll see how the offseason plays out. DeLeon, I don't know if I'm going to re-sign. Birdie, I kind of want to get back. I don't know if he would take he'd probably take the 1 year, $15 million. I would assume. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm not going to give him the qualifying offers. Only 2 qualifying offers being dished out. And Devers I would like to re-sign if possible. Robert, I'm going to withdraw. Same thing with Wilson. See, Wilson actually got him off waivers. He's out for 2 more months. Probably withdraw on him too and just see if we could fill these spots with better free agents. Rodriguez I think I'll retain for $750,000. He's been with us for a couple of years and he's been solid in the past. Better track record than the other 2. Torres, we can let him go too as well. Fisher, we want to bring back. He's looking for no money because he was better in the postseason, but he didn't really show anything in the regular season after coming back healthy. But I think he looked almost fully back in the postseason. We also have Paco Rodriguez, who was pretty solid for us down the stretch after we got him off waivers or in a trade. I don't remember exactly which one, but he's not interested in coming back. Real Muto, who I signed as a minor league free agent once again. And O'Hearn, probably not going to bring him back. That's pretty low money. But without a DH, he would have to be a backup first baseman, corner outfield. Definitely backup first baseman. I wouldn't want him as the backup outfielder. He could fill that spot for $1.3 million. as a bench bat. He would be backing up Luis Molina, who's a righty, so that makes sense in a sense. And Molina isn't a great glove. We have Gillespie as well. So that's the big thing. Without the DH is now we have Gillespie and Molina. So we don't need both those guys. So that's probably what it's going to come down to. One of those guys is going to have to get moved. So losing the DH does affect us actually a little bit. I didn't quite realize. Gillespie, yeah, I can't play the outfield, I don't think. And neither can Molina. Molina can barely play the infield. Molina, he mashes lefties. He makes much less money than Gillespie is the thing. And that might ultimately be what it comes down to. Probably will be. So we have a couple pretty decent offers for Gillespie. I like this Brad Hand offer. He was pretty good lefty out of the Cubs bullpen last year. Not bad for the Yankees a couple years ago. Strikeouts have been up the last couple years, and he's pretty highly rated. Does make a pretty good amount of money. I don't think that option will vest unless I really wanted it to. He would have to finish 40 games, and I don't think he would be the closer because DeYoung would be the closer on my team. So I don't think that option would vest anyway. So it's really a 1-year, $11.7 million deal. But I think I actually prefer this offer for Trey Turner. He's 32. He has 1 year left on the deal at $13.3 million. So a little bit more money we're taking on coming off of a down year. The offense, the offensive production was not quite the same it was the last couple of years, but I think he could certainly bounce back. Above average hitter. Scouts, think he's fine offensively and a good defender. Up the middle, can play shortstop or second base, and he would be the second baseman on our team because we have Correa. That is a spot that we probably have to fill if we're going to let Urias go. I think Turner could be a better player for Urias, and he'd be for a similar price. So I think we're probably going to look to try to do that deal. These other offers I'm not really interested in from the Dodgers. Maybe we could work with the Dodgers, or we could even maybe look at the Cubs and try to get something different for them. Oftentimes, like you just have to pick the teams that are most interested. So the Cubs, they're offering a couple different guys, but I mean, they would never give up. This guy's look at this guy. Oh my gosh. He is going to be an incredible bat for the Cubs. They have Benintendi still, who's on a big deal, but I'd obviously love to get him. I tried to get him, and they wouldn't do this kind of trade, obviously, so their outfield is just incredibly stacked. There's no way they give up Addison Russell already. It's 10-5 rule anyway. Bryce Hoskins, we don't need a first baseman back. Could go with, so they offered up a reliever. What if we got Jeff Billingsley, who could be a starter? He made 13 starts last year and was decent. And scouts think he's a reliable starter. Scouting report wasn't bad. They have enough starters. They also have Braylon Marquez, who I like. Also could be a starter. But they don't really even seem willing to budge on a deal for Billingsley. But I think I'm just going to go with the Nationals deal and try to get what I can from Washington. Along with Trey Turner, of course. So we throw him in. We will flip Gillespie. And like I said, the decision to trade Gillespie over Molina is mainly due to salary. I know Molina wasn't that great, or that wasn't that... Let's see what his production was. No, he was pretty productive last year. He got hot in the second half. His defense is not very good. That is the thing about him. That's why DH would be good. But he's a productive hitter. So I'm going to need that in my lineup, even if he doesn't play great defense or run the bases particularly well. You do need good hitting at the end of the day. So I don't suppose we could get any other potential relievers. Preferably ones on the young side. This team seems to be rebuilding. Surprised they're even interested in someone like Gillespie. This guy's a relief pitcher prospect. Would they trade him? Probably not. We could get him for a different relief pitcher prospect like Ozga. Sure, I'll do that. I'll trade that Ozga guy. And actually, really what I should be doing is trying to see if Washington can retain any of Turner's salary. I'll do this. But let's see if, like 50%? What would it take to get them to retain? Because that would free us, $6.7 million that we could use to potentially get Devers back, to potentially fill the bullpen out. So this guy, Jeremy Wren, who I don't see as being any good. He was a minor league free agent. So how much exactly can we eke out of this? So this only gets us to a max of 55. So we'll do this then. We save I think we saved 6 point. No, we saved 7.3. They're taking that. We have to pay him 6.1, I think, for the year, and it's only a 1-year deal. So I think that works out for us. I don't love Turner's hitting ratings, but I think it'll be fine. His base running is gonna be good. His defense should be good, and I think he can be an upgrade. Hopefully he bounces back offensively. Maybe he'll just have a high BABIP year. But we need to trade Gillespie anyway. That fills a hole for us, so that works out. So we also have some decisions to make on guys like Jake Bauers, who has a $15 million option coming off of a down year, and that is the last year on his deal. So we could probably get the qualifying offer on him if we let him go, but then we have a hole in left field that we open up. He was good 2 years ago. He has average offensive skills now. That's $15 million we could free up to get to re-sign Devers. That would assure us pretty much of being able to get back Devers for 25, which I think I'm fine with. I'd rather have that than have Bauers at 15. Plus we get the compensation, so I think I am going to decline that. I'll execute Molina's. Sale is the guy we really would want to get rid of, but we can't. I think he has 10.5. Yeah, he does have 10.5. So we're stuck. People were like, yeah, you shouldn't have given him that contract. And I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, you're right, but still, I guess I did get a little too sentimental, but that happens at the end of the day. I kind of wish he was going to retire as a Tampa Bay Ray and go into the Hall of Fame as a Tampa Bay Ray. I guess, yeah, he probably would as a Tampa Bay Ray, because that's really where he had his peak years. So, oh well. Now let's take a look at the player re-signing. And Devers, now we have a ton of money to spend, whether we get Devers back or not. So we can probably get him for maybe even 23 for like 60. We'll do maybe. Ideally, I'd actually really only want to do like 4 years. 4 years at, I don't know what this is, 92 million. And he would do that. That's a player option for that last year. Kind of would rather not do that. All right, so we'll have it at that. 4 years, 23 million. That's perfect. And that leaves us with a lot of money to spend. We could still retain a guy like Bauers, bring him back, but I'm certainly going to let him go to market. And we'll see what the reliever market is too. We're going to have money to spend, flexibility once we get to free agency, so I think we don't really have to make any more moves beforehand. So we are at the first day of free agency. We didn't get any awards. Andrew Benintendi got MVP in the NL. He was third in WAR among position players in the NL, further proving that I should have signed him, making me even more disappointed. We got a trade offer from the Giants I don't care about, and I don't think we placed in the. Correa was second in WAR, but he did not place in the MVP voting. We got Snell second in the Cy Young. Something I never even mentioned was that the Braves the Yankees were the team that beat the Braves in the World Series, so they're the World Series champs from our division. But all right, so we head to free agency. Devers took his extension. He signed for 4 years, 92 million. So he is back, and I'm glad to have him back. We made that trade for him. 4 years, I think, solid contract, and he's a good player. Not a great one. I don't know if that's going to be the best contract in the world. That and the Correa contracts are both risky contracts, but it's kind of the core of our team. Two pretty good players. They combined for about 10 wins last year. So that is kind of the core of our lineup, at least. And the reigning MVP, Nomar Mazara, is available as a free agent. This guy is a beast in this game. And I don't know if we have 40 million available, but it wouldn't be a bad way to spend 40 million, although he's fragile. He does get hurt a little bit. But wow, yeah, look at him. He is an insane player in this game. And I also want to take a look at the international free agents, actually, before I look at the major league ones. And ooh, look at this guy. He's also a first baseman. That stinks, but I might have to sign him anyway. And this guy, he has 80 power. He doesn't play defense. Good personality, though. Scouts, I'm sure, love him. He's got huge power. Not looking for a ton of money, but what's that first baseman? I think I'd rather sign that first baseman. Did you see his hitting ratings? Wilfredo Coronel, 6'7". Look at this guy. And he only wants 13.7 million. Has a questionable work ethic. But, I mean, he looks like the real deal. This guy I have to sign. I mean, this is the no-brainer of the century right here. We have 34 million for free agents. So keep that in mind. We're going to probably trade Molina. We don't have enough money as it is for Mazara, so I don't think that makes sense. But there are other good free agents available. I haven't even seen the full list. So before I invest the 10 million, I think that's going to be the no-brainer move. I'm going to also look at see what the trade market is for Luis Molina first before I make any trade. because he will be a casualty, of course. So this is the full market, and I don't, let's see, Kluber wouldn't be bad. 39 years old, though. Gallo is one of the big names. He's a 50 home run guy the last couple of years. Almost kind of a profile of what Cho would be, except Gallo wants more money and comes with the compensation, and strikes out more. Probably lower average, but plays a very good first base, can play third base. So we wouldn't really have a role for him because he doesn't seem to play the outfield. I doubt he could adjust at 32 in this game. Mazara would be, I kind of wish we had that kind of money. I would think about it, but I think the smarter thing to do is go after Cornell. We do have a hole. We have holes in the outfield, though, is the thing. We have to fill the Jake Bauer spot. We sort of don't really have a center fielder. The thing we should really try to focus on is like whatever move nets us a center fielder, because I think a center fielder is like a huge hole on this team. There is Victor Robles, who I kind of like. No compensation either. I might sign him too. I could sign him and Cornell, and he would take over. I could keep Cespedes in left. Maybe try to find a better right fielder, and that could be kind of my team. I'd have Schwartz. Might want to sign a left-handed catcher, another sort of platoon guy that maybe isn't Garrett Stubbs. Maybe it will be Garrett Stubbs. If I could find a really good catcher too, that would be another net gain, I think, on the team. But catcher or center field. I like Robles. I don't know if we're going to find another good catcher. There's Dansby Swanson, who wants a good amount of money and did not hit last year. Riley Pinto I don't think would be bad as a reliever. He has been used as a starter the last couple of years in Detroit, but he's looking for very minimal money. I think we should give him a contract for 1.2. We'll do team option for that second year. No, okay, he only wants the 1 year. Let's do 1.25. And that's a no-brainer. So I think I'm going to go after Robles and the first baseman. Like I said, I'm going to check to see what the market is going to be for Molina in a trade first, but I'm going to also just continue to look through the free agents real quick. We're getting down to the 3 stars now, so let's look at catchers. And okay, this guy can play catcher apparently. Jose Ruiz, who is a pretty good reliever. Looking for double-digit figures money-wise though, and it's not really a good catcher. It's not a major league catcher. Doesn't seem. And it's not been good the last couple of years, so I don't know if I'm going to pay Jose Ruiz. Maybe Matt Watley, although he's a right-handed bat. Ideally would be looking for a left-handed bat, so maybe we'd have to search for one in a trade if we are not going to retain Garrett Stubbs. But I think, let's see what the market is for Luis Molina. So we got some half-decent offers for Luis Molina. Trades I'm not going to pull off right away, but just I'm going to try and sign Cornell first, and then I would pull the trigger on one of these trades. Some lower-rated guys with good stats. Chase Pinder is only 23 at-bats, though. Probably guys I'm not too interested in. But I go further down the list. Some more higher-rated guys. Jose Gomez wouldn't be too bad. He can play any position in the infield pretty well defensively. Doesn't make a lot of money for the next few years. But we kind of have our infield with Trey Turner, Devers, and Correa. And same sort of deal when you look at a guy like Ahmed Rosario. But the guy I really like is Lane Plowman, who had pretty good offensive numbers last year for Philly in very small sample. Only 53 at-bats, but doesn't play a great defense. Can sort of play left field, though. Probably could play first base eventually. And he hits righties better, which is good, because if I sign Robles and the other first baseman, I'm going to need... he's a switch hitter, but he hits righties better. I'm going to need guys to be able to hit, who can hit from the left side of the plate, and who can hit right-handed pitching. So I think that is going to fill a need and kind of replace the Jake Bauer spot. So that is going to be the move that I try to pull off if I get Cornell. And I also want to get Robles. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get a catcher or a center fielder for Luis Molina, which makes sense. So, all right, let's try to sign these guys. Cornell, 6'7" from Mexico. One of the, like, just a really supremely good hitter. I'll take one more look at his hitting. And he's a good fielder, too. That's the thing. He could be, like, a really stud player at first base. It's kind of rare that you could see, like, a first baseman. Like, Joey Votto is a good example of someone who's, like, a two-way star at first base. Anthony Rizzo, I guess, too. And Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's not bad defensively either, so although he plays third base now. So let's go for 6 years, I guess, maybe with team options, the last two, at $12 million. And he, I think, is going to take that. And then we're also going to try and get Victor Robles to be our center fielder. He would fill a hole at center field that we have not been able to fill for a while, really since Kevin Kiermaier left, which hasn't been too long, but Kiermaier was in a decline for a long time. and wasn't really a reliable player for the last couple of years that he was here. There's some other good free agents too. Moncada, I saw. There's Bowers. Greg Bird is available for very cheap. That could be a nice backup first base. He would have been a nice backup for Luis Molina. I don't know if I really want to bring anyone in who would take at-bats away from Coronel, assuming I get him. But let's scoop up Victor Robles here if we can. He's also fragile, so he could run into the same kind of problem we had with Kiermaier. But let's... He's looking for an average of $13 million. Let's also try to scoop him for 12 for 3 years. 3 years, $36 million. And that's a fair offer for him. So hopefully that will help fill our hole in center field. And we also don't give up compensation picks for either of those guys, which is nice. So other than that, it's really just trying to find pieces to fill the bullpen. We don't have a ton of money left to spend, assuming we get both of those guys signed. Chapman's coming off of a good year, but he's looking for a ton of money. We try to sign Riley Pint. I think that would be a nice pickup. Others who are available. This guy is not very good from the KBO. Reliever-wise, some markets on guys could fall. This is another posted guy who's not very good. Well, Jose Ruiz, we'll see what his market develops into. He'll probably get a decent contract, though. So the update on Coronel, he is talking with Texas and Detroit, it seems like. So we're going to have to give him a very, pretty solid offer here if we want him. Probably go to $17 million, which is going to eat up a bunch of our money. It's kind of getting risky, but this is like the big, this is pretty much really one of our last plays at this point if we really want him. 5 years, $85 million. Maybe even make that a player option. Although he would just be looking at getting even more money in arbitration at that point. I think I'm just going to try and get him for the 5 years, $85 million. See if he takes that. I really hope he does. So Robles signs on, which means if Coronel does not like the last contract we gave to him, then we could be in a spot where we have to move even more salary off the team if we want to sign him, because the other move would have been to pull back the offer on Robles. I guess if we trade Molina's salary, we'll have a little bit more money left. We do, let's see. Pint has not signed yet. Given signs somewhere else. Cornell now likes our offer. And we get the compensation pick for Givens, which is nice. Hopefully Cornell does not get another better offer. Let's see. Nope, he got a better offer from Texas. So now, yeah, we're having an offer right around $20 million for 4 years maybe. Even though really we actually want to have that 5th year. In fact, I'll probably go to the 6th year and make this like a vesting option. Although even like, I don't know, at that point, because if the option doesn't vest, he probably gets more money. So I don't know if he would want it to vest. I don't know if that really makes sense to do that kind of deal. So let's just do $20 million for 6 years and just hope that he signs it. I think he will. And I think it's going to be worth getting him. Now we have a lot of kind of big money contracts. We do get sales money off the books next year. So it's kind of like, although you miss out on having that money this year, which is going to hurt us, it'll be nice to have it off next year at the very least. Urias signs with someone else. I probably should have seen if Urias would have taken the qualifying offer, because he might have. But at this point, all I really care about is signing Coronel. So we get the Rule 5 draft. I left 1, 2.5 potential guy unprotected, but yeah, it's not going to be a big deal. Could draft a reliever. David Lumen, maybe, but probably not. All business on the field. Jimmy Petrie is a starter. Probably not going to draft any of these guys. Let me look at my bullpen, though. It's going to be very tight with the bullpen. Yeah, we could use some arms. So maybe I will. We have Edwin Diaz. I should try and trade his salary. Should have tried to do that before free agency, honestly. But I might have to try and do that now. Maybe I can trade him for a cheaper bullpen arm. That would be ideal. I can certainly offload his contract, but I'm probably not going to get anything too decent in return. Maybe I can try and get a reliever from one of these teams, or I could just settle for getting a decent corner guy. Maybe try to trade Molina for a reliever. Alright, so here's the trade I think I'm going to make. Edwin Diaz and Joe Youngs for J.B. Wendelken, and Detroit keeps a lot of his salary for the next couple of years. He signed for 2 more years. Yes, 2 more years. 30 for his age, 32 and 33 seasons. Looks like a solid reliever. More than anything, I just want to get rid of Diaz and his salary, and I think hopefully Wendelken will be able to replace his role. Diaz hasn't really been that good. He wasn't that good in the brief time he was here. Did we have him before? No. Why do I feel like I had him before? I don't know why, but he wasn't very good. I just basically got him in that Greg Bird salary dump trade. So this is basically another salary dump trade. How much are there? Yeah, you want to take all the contract? Oh my god, you guys are the best. You guys are the best, man. Alright, so free up a little bit more money. And we could still use someone in the Rule 5 draft, so maybe we'll take this lefty zoom on. Just see, we have Riley Pinto I need to add to the 40-man, I just realized. And JB Wendelken. Don't get taken in the Rule 5, guys, please. So the other guy I hadn't really shopped was Tyler Glasnow. And I don't really have many good offers for him at this moment, but at this time, I mean, if this offseason, if we get Cornell and we can trade Molina for a corner guy, then I think the offseason will be fine. We can take Glasnow. We can come into the season with Glasnow and probably think about, you know, maybe upgrading that spot mid-season, maybe trading him at some point still. But there we go. We do get Cornell. So we had to pay him way more. I misjudged his market. I should have just jumped on him with like a $16-17 million a year contract early. Instead, we had to pay him 20, which is a little bit risky, and it's guaranteed for 6 years as opposed to probably 4 or 5, which I could have got him for if I had just given him a good deal early on. But Bauer's also signed, so we get the compensation for him. Now we have to see if we can still execute that same Luis Molina trade.